Hey everybody, Tex-Mex here. Thanks for joining me for another video. Very excited about today's video. We're going to be taking a look at two great pistols. The I.W.I, actually it was I.M.I at the time, Jericho, and this is the compact version, and the CZ P-01. Now, I've never fired either of these pistols. This one's on loan from a very close friend of mine who allowed me to use it for this review. And this one is new out of the box. So this one has not seen any rounds through it other than anything that was put through the factory. I wanted to look at these two pistols and do a little comparison. Although I've never shot them, I have shot their big brother counterparts. So either the I.W.I full frame Jericho or the CZ SP-01. And I shoot both of those pistols very well, which is why I'm excited to shoot these, because I expect that I will enjoy shooting both of them. There are a lot of similarities and differences between these pistols. One of the reasons I'm comparing them is ergonomics. Both have really great grips. They fit great in my hand and many other shooters that I know. Both are full metal framed semi-automatic pistols. Both are double action or single action. Both have slides that sit inside the frame, so that's sort of a commonality in their design. Other than that, there are a lot of differences as well. For instance, as we do our function check, I will show the safety differences. See the I.W.I here, and actually you probably can't see it because GoPros aren't great for close-up focusing, but that says I.M.I. So this is a older version of the Jericho, and you can tell that as well because it doesn't have the slide. It has, slide. It doesn't have the rail under the frame, which gives it that very, very smooth look that I like on these Jerichos. And another thing you could see is if you look at this magazine, I don't know if you can tell, but it has this larger base plate there, and that was an indicator for magazines that were restricted down to 10 rounds during the assault weapons ban that lasted between 1994 and 2004. So most likely this was a pre-2004 acquisition. And as you can see, there's nothing in the magazine, nothing in the chamber. And one of the differences between the CZ and this Jericho is the safety. Now, the Jericho has the slide-mounted safety, at least this version. And right now it's on fire when it's up. If you put the safety on, it also acts as a decocker, so you will see the hammer drop. So at that point also, your trigger is completely disconnected. So it's very safe in that respect. There is a frame-mounted safety version of these. The slide-mounted safeties are the R model, so this is the R model S because it is the compact. And then the frame-mounted safeties are the F models. So there's the Jericho F or FS if you want the compact as well. Once you put it on fire, you can use it in just straight double action, pull back the trigger, or if your hammer's already back, you can just fire it in single action. So that's different from the CZ in that the CZ only has a decocker. So let's check it. Nothing in the magazine. Clean chamber. So once the hammer is back on the CZ, there is no safety. There is just this lever here that acts as a decocker. So you push it down and it safely drops your hammer. At that point as well, you can either just use it as double action and pull the trigger back, or if your hammer is back, shoot it in single action. So that is a major difference in these. Also, depending on which model of the P-01, they could have an aluminum alloy frame versus a steel frame. So there is a weight difference. The Jericho, this has a 3.8-inch barrel, weighs a little over 2.2 pounds. The CZ has a 3.75-inch barrel. So the barrel lengths are very similar. It only weighs 1.75 pounds. So they're similar in weight, although the Jericho is a little heavier. Size-wise, there's a little bit of difference. As you can see, the grip size on the Jericho is taller. So if you look here, let me see if I can get a better view. You can see the grip. It's got a longer grip here than it does on the P-01. Slide length, very similar. I don't think you're going to get too many differences there. That's going to be the biggest difference, just how I felt and looked at them in hand. And actually, the Jericho has a very long grip. It almost looks the same size as the standard version. So let's get this CZ out of here. We'll put the standard Jericho there. And if you look, The grips look about the same. They don't look too different. It's just the length of the you know, the frame and the slide that makes it slightly more compact. It's a much bigger difference when you compare the CZs. So if you put the P-01, and actually I'll put the P-01 on the bottom. So let's put the P-01 there and the SP-01 here. And you can tell that there's a much bigger difference. It's a smaller grip size and much smaller frame and slide than the SP-01. So let's get our pistols back up here. Now, one of the reasons I'm excited to shoot these is because I do shoot their larger counterparts very, very, very well. And I've done previous videos featuring both the counterparts, but I've never shot the compact version, nor have I shot the P-01. So I'm going to take them out to the range, fire some slow rounds through them, then try to fire some rapid fire. And when I say rapid fire, I usually mean shoot it as fast as I can while feasibly still kind of keeping it on target, and see how well they compare to each other. And I'll also take some slow motion of the you know, some side angle slow motion so you can see the slide in action working when they're firing, just to check to see if there's much difference in muzzle flip and things of that sort. Now this this Jericho has been fired a bit by my friend, and I can tell you, just feeling it, the trigger, as far as the double action, I mean, it's a long double action, but a very crisp single action. There's almost no, there's just that take up there, and then it breaks. There's no creep at all. Just a take up and break, and then let's see how quick the reset is. The reset, it's okay. I mean, it's a relatively short reset. There you go. So not bad. Not a bad reset at all. Let's see here on the CZ. A much heavier double action right now, but that may be because it's new. It just hasn't been shot very much. And on the single action, just like the SP, it has a little bit of creep. So there's the take up. And then see that extra little there? That's a little creep. And then it breaks. We try that again. So you got the take up. Little bit of creep there, and then it breaks. Although the creep, as much as I complained about it on the SP, it didn't really cause any problems when firing. I fired that pistol very well. Reset, a little bit shorter than the Jericho. So let's try that again. See how short that reset is. Right there. That's about the same. Maybe a slightly shorter. But as far as trigger pull, out of the box, this one feels better, but that doesn't mean I'm going to shoot it better. As far as weight, I expect this one's been polished a little more just because it's fired a bunch of rounds. But let's pull out the trigger gauge and see what the double and single action weights are and how they compare to each other. Okay, now I have my Wheeler trigger gauge here. Let's start off with the Jericho. And let's test the double action trigger on it first. Let's look one more time. You can never check a firearm enough. So there's nothing in the chamber. We're completely clear. Let's try the double action trigger. This is going to be in pounds. So 8 pounds, 7 ounces. Let's try that again. 7 pound, 13 ounces. Let's do it again. 8 pounds, 12 ounces. So now let's try the single action. So we will cock it back and let's clear the memory here to make sure we're just testing the single action. Single action breaks at just under 4 pounds, 3 pounds, 9.5 ounces. Let's do it again. 3 pounds, 7.8 ounces. And we'll do one more. 3 pounds, 5.5 ounces. So very consistent, very consistent. Good trigger. You know, a little heavy on the double action, but typically for safety purposes, people don't mind that. Now let us try the CZ. So as always, we'll check it again, make sure that it is safe condition, nothing in the chamber. So let's try the double action trigger. 9 pounds, 11 ounces. 10 pounds, 11 ounces, almost 12. 10 pounds, 5.5 ounces. So heavier for certain, but like I said, you know, this pistol hasn't been fired much, so give it a chance to start to polish all the surfaces on the trigger mechanism, and that may improve with time. And now let's check the single action. So we'll reset the trigger gauge, single action pull, 3 pounds, 5.6 ounces. 2 pounds, 14 ounces. Interesting. I'll check that one more time. 3 pounds, 5.1 ounce. Let me check it one more time. Not terribly consistent there. Good trigger, but it's probably just too new to have worked in its consistency. So let's see here. And 2 pounds, 11 ounces. So a lighter single action. So it seems that the CZ has a heavier double action, but a lighter single action out of the box than the Jericho. But both good pistols and good triggers to be sure. And once again, you have to consider that this one's probably seen hundreds of rounds go through it. And this one hasn't seen a single one other than anything that was fired at the factory. So once again, enough of my yapping. And with that, let's head out to the range and put some rounds through these pistols and see how they compare. And here we are at our target. We're at a little over 15 yards. We're going to start with the Jericho Compact. This is literally the first time I've fired this pistol, at least the compact version. It's the first time I fired either of these pistols. So we're going to start off with 10 slow, well-aimed shots, and then maybe try some slightly faster shooting after that. And here we are at our target. Not bad, not great, but not bad. I mean, we got 5 inside the red, the other 5 in the 9 ring. You know, I have shot Jerichos in the past, but I've never shot this particular compact version of it before. But, you know, I'm sure with a little practice, I could probably tighten them up and get them all inside the red at you know, 15 to 20 yards. But now let's try the CZ. I apologize in advance. The wind is picking up a little bit, so hopefully you're not picking that up on the microphone. So let's try the CZ. And now the CZ P-01. Not only is this going to be the first time I fired this pistol, it's the first time this pistol's been fired. So 10 rounds at the target. Well, look at that. That group was pretty good. It looks like I got all but 3 rounds inside the center red. To be fair, I think I took these shots slightly slower than I did these. I think I just have a better grip with the CZ, which I'm surprised because I typically shoot these Jerichos great. And like I said, with either of these pistols, if I put in a lot more practice, I'm sure I could get those rounds tighter and into the red. So let's try a little more rapid shooting with both of these pistols. So once again, we're going to start with the Jericho Compact. Now when I say rapid fire, what I mean is trying to shoot as quickly as I can while still staying relatively well on target. So let's see how well we can do with the Jericho. Well, not terrible. I actually got one in the bullseye and most of the rest in the circle target. I got a couple down here. So I said not terrible. Obviously, if I was trying to hit something, I'd be aiming and shooting slower. But for rapid fire, I was pulling a little to the right. But other than that, not too bad. So let's try the CZ P-01. And now the CZ P-01. And here is the target for the CZ P-01. Certainly not as great. It looked like I was dipping the rounds down a bit, so I must have been pushing the pistol down as I was firing. Not as good as the Jericho. Now, the CZ P-01 shined in the slower aimed shots. I was able to really get those much tighter, but it seems that the Jericho shined in the rapid shooting, and I think there's an easy explanation for that. Both fit my hand really well, but I think the CZ grip is a little better for me. So when I'm taking slower controlled shots, I'm going to hit the closer to the bullseye with the CZ P-01. But once you get into slightly more rapid fire and it's about muzzle control, the weight of the Jericho, I think, helped me get back on target a lot faster. And the CZ P-01, it's a great pistol, but it is lighter, and because of that, I think I was not able to get back on target as quickly, and I had to deliberately push my front sight down a little bit between shots, and that got me to hit a little bit low. That being said, in a life and death situation, at 15 yards, either of these individuals would have multiple rounds in their abdomen, and I think for self-defense purposes, both are amazing pistols. And we're back from the range, and in conclusion, both great pistols. I enjoyed shooting them both. Not a terrible surprise that I hit a little better with the Jericho on the fast fire. You know, it is a heavier frame, it's a heavier pistol, and that does help with recoil. When you're trying to shoot a gun fast, the frame weight of this pistol will allow you to get back on target a little bit faster. That being said, it wasn't like I did poorly with the P-01. And with either of these pistols, if you train with it, you're going to be able to shoot awesomely with it. And this one did great compared to, you know, other pistols of its size. I shot it pretty much as well as the SP-01. I may have to do another video where I compare the P-01 and the SP-01 and see how I do those side by side. But you can't go wrong with either of these pistols. This one, I was amazed at how well I shot out of the box when I was doing the slow fire. I was hitting pretty much center of target with most of my rounds. And like I said, a lot of it has to do with ergonomics, excuse me, not Reaganomics, ergonomics. I just dated myself because I'm old enough to know Reaganomics. But, you know, both of these have very, very great grips with a good little beaver tail there where you can hold them well. Both have low bore access, both have pretty decent sights. So either of these pistols, almost anyone who grabs one and trains with it is going to do extremely well with it. I recommend them both. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I guess one downside would be that the weight of the Jericho might make it a bigger pain to carry over long periods of time versus the CZ, but you know, at the end of the day, it's about a quarter-pound difference. So you know, you can kind of decide whether that's going to be an issue for you if you're going to have it on a holster and carry it all day long. But thanks again for watching. Before we wrap up this video, I'm going to do a little side-by-side view of both of these pistols. That way you yourself can kind of judge the muzzle flip when firing. And I hope wherever you are at, that ammunition is starting to show up back on the shelves and that you're getting to go out and do some shooting and having some fun. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.